Hi everyone, welcome back to Learn Turkish the Easy Way channel. This is another live random lesson about Turkish language. And just to remind, apart from the grammar classes that we have on Tuesdays, Thursdays, or Saturdays, I sometimes organize this live random classes. This is one of those during which I explain some kind of a minor topic, not necessarily a very big grammar topic, whatever comes to my mind. So today I decided to explain the topic of using numbers with countable nouns. Of course, numbers are usually used with countable nouns, right? We don't necessarily use numbers with uncountable nouns, but I just specified it kind of on purpose. So what is the rule here? We have this kind of a very not necessarily very weird, but it's also kind of easy. Makes things easier for those learners of Turkish language when you use numbers with nouns. It's very simple rule. So let's go immediately. Merhaba Erika. İyi akşamlar. So what is the basic rule? Let's go to the workpad. It's a very short topic that I have today. So the topic is basically, what is the rule basically? The rule is that when we use numbers in front of countable nouns in Turkish language, we don't make nouns plural. Okay, they are always used in the singular form. So, for example, what are the plural endings in Turkish language? As you might remember, right? It's lar or ler, right? Sorry, that's something. Yeah. So we use either lar or ending ler to express plural, right? To make the nouns plural. You probably have seen one of the classes about making plural. I already have a separate lesson on this, so you can find it in the channel in the grammar probable classes. But basically we have two endings, right? And depending on the vowel harmony, for the vowels, for the nouns that end in the last vowel of which is hard vowel like a, u, o, u, the ending will be large, and for the nouns that end the last vowel of which is e, I, ö, ü, you will use ler. Now, of course, you use it in different contexts whenever you require these endings, but when it comes to numbers, that's a very specific thing in Turkish language. We don't use these endings, okay, lar or ler, after the numbers. If we want to specify specific kind of countable amount of specific things like apples, pens, houses, people, we always use the nouns in their singular form, and that's a very strict rule. Okay, there are no exceptions. It is very straightforward. So look at the examples here. I just specified here 5 apples. How would you say 5 in English? It's basically, because it's countable, right? Apples is countable. You have to add this ending s, right? Plural ending s, to make it plural. But in Turkish, you would express it as beş elma, not beş elmalar. Okay, this is wrong. You will not say beş elmalar. You will just say beş elma. For 2 houses, it's very straightforward in English. You have this s ending, right? Plural ending. But in Turkish, you don't say iki evler. You just say iki ev. So you don't need that ler, because this iki, okay, these numbers by default, they already imply plurality. So you don't need this plural ending at the end of the nouns. Or look at this example, 10 cars here, right? 10 cars, in English you have s at the end of the noun. But in Turkish you don't say on arabalar, you just say on araba. Okay, very simple, very straightforward. Hi Fabiola, iyi akşamlar. Hoş geldiniz. Hepiniz hoş geldiniz arkadaşlar. So that's basically the rule. Okay, very simple rule. So let's look at a couple of examples. I just have a couple of examples for you to kind of practice it. So here, look at the first sentence here. 3 araba görüyorum. I see 3 cars, right? In English, you have this s ending, but in Turkish, you don't have to specify it. You don't say 3 arabalar görüyorum. You just say 3 araba görüyorum. 2 kalem aldık. We bought 2 pens. The second example, Same with the pens, right? You have s at the end, but in Turkish you don't say iki kalemler aldık. We just say iki kalem aldık. İki kalem aldık. Okay. Look at the third example. Odada 5 kadın var. There are 5 women in the room. Woman, of course, it's already irregular kind of a format for plural of the woman, right? So there is no s, but it's kind of irregular form of plurality. But in Turkish, you don't say odada 5 kadınlar var. You just say odada 5 kadın var. Okay. Of course, if you remove this number here, for example, if you want to say there are women in the room, right? Of course, if you remove this number, you by default have to add lar, right? If you want to say woman, it's only valid for the cases where you have number in front of the nouns, where you remove this plural ending, right? Lar. So if you make this, for example, remove this 5, odada kadın var, it will mean only one woman, okay? So if you want to specify multiple women, then of course you have to say odada kadınlar var, right? But again, let's kind of erase it and go back, because if we say 5 women, we have to keep it without any plural ending lar here, okay? Again, not odada 5 kadınlar var, but odada 5 kadın var. There are 5 women in the room. Let's look at the fourth example. 10 dakika sonra çıkacağız. By the way, when you pronounce dakika, it's not, you don't necessarily pronounce it that long, right? 10 dakika sonra. You just place very simple and short, say 10 dakika. 10 dakika sonra çıkacağız. So 10 dakika, dakika here means a minute, right? Dakika means minute. So 10 dakika sonra çıkacağız. We'll leave. Çıkacağız is a future tense, right? And here, by the way, when we talk about var, odada 5 kadın var, it was the is structure, right? The is, the structure. We already covered this in another grammar class, but I don't go over here for that. So here, 10 dakika sonra çıkacağız, we have a plural future tense, right? Sorry, future tense for we, for us. So we will leave, çıkacağız, after, and sonra here means after 10 minutes. It's the reverse order, of course. We already talked about the order sentence structure in Turkish language, so it's the reverse. So I will not talk about that. But basically we have what? We don't have 10 dakikalar sonra, right? 10 dakikalar sonra is wrong. We will just say 10 dakika sonra çıkacağız. We will leave after 10 minutes. Fifth example, 3 yıl sonra döndü. Dönmek is to return, to come back. Döndü is past tense here, right? Past tense. And it is about he or she. Third person singular. So 3 yıl sonra, we don't say 3 yıllar sonra. We just say 3 yıl sonra döndü. He, she returned after 3 years. And last example here, sokakta 1000 öğrenci vardı. There were, of course, var, right, is there is the structure, and the makes it past tense, vardı, right, there were, not there is, but also, or there are, but there were. So sokakta, and here of course it's locative case, this ending ta, as well as in this ending da, in the third example odada, right, odada and sokakta, both of them are in the locative case of the noun, right? Locative case. Remember the cases of the noun cases. So both of these, odada and sokakta, are locative cases, which mean in or on, at. So sokakta means on the street, right? Sokakta 1000 öğrenci, 1000 means 1000, and you don't say 1000 öğrenciler, you just say 1000 öğrenci. Sokakta 1000 öğrenci vardı. There were 1000 students on the street. Now, one additional thing before we finish our lesson is that no matter how many words you add in between, okay, between the number and the noun, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make it plural, okay? So, for example, you can let's take this sentence, okay? Let me copy this sentence, the first sentence, down here. Okay, so I have this sentence, right? You can add adjectives in between. For example, you can say I 3 araba görüyorum, right? I see 3 cars. You can also say I see 3 red cars. 3 kırmızı araba görüyorum. So you can say 3 kırmızı. Let me just change the keyboard. kırmızı araba görüyorum. So adding this adjective here in between the number and the noun, when you say 3 red cars, doesn't change the situation, okay? So no matter how many words are between 3 and araba here, if you talk about 3 cars overall, you still keep it that way, okay? You don't add any plural ending to the araba. Very simple. You can expand the sentence, so let me kind of show you the expanded, unexpanded. So 3 araba görüyorum, we started with that one, right? 3 araba görüyorum, I see 3 cars. 3 kırmızı araba görüyorum means I see 3 red cars. And let's add one more kind of a 3. For example, you can say 3 kırmızı 3 kırmızı, and you can say ve, right? 3 kırmızı ve kirli araba görüyorum. Dirty. Okay? I see 3 red and dirty cars. I see 3 red and dirty cars. So you see, whatever happens in between, whatever happens between this 3 and araba, it doesn't matter. You still keep the structure same, okay? Whatever comes between this number and the noun, if you really mean that number for that noun, if that number is for that noun, you still use it in the singular form, okay? That's basically it that I wanted to specify in this lesson. It's very short, very simple. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's very clear. So if you have any questions, you can mention them in the comments, or still now chat if you're still live. I can address them now or later if you mention them in the comments section. So that's it basically. If you don't have any questions, I'll see you in the following classes. Enjoy the week ahead. Herkese iyi haftalar. Görüşmek üzere. Bye bye.